Hey, what's happening, guys? So easily the most overlooked training variable for backcountry athletes, and this is like across the board, whether you hunt, just a hiker, doesn't matter, backcountry skiing, etc., is the foot and the ankle. And one of the easiest training implementations that you can make is to take your boots off, okay? So often I see, backcountry hunters, I'll start working with them and we're talking about their ruck-based training like I'm doing right now. I'm just walking in the woods. And I ask them what they're wearing for footwear, and they're typically doing this in their hunting boots. That's a big mistake, okay? If you're doing that, and then you're gonna go hunt all season in them, you're spending the majority of the year in these stiff, supportive, call it sport-specific footwear. Now, they have their place, and that's within the season. But when it comes time for training, you got to get outside of them. You got to take them off. You got to let the dogs out, and you got to let those joints and connective tissues be exposed to varying planes of movement, such as slope. We call pronation, supination. That's where the foot is turning in and out, and also dorsiflexion and plantar flexion, because that stiff boot. We look here, what I'm wearing. So here's just a trail shoe. If you look, here is my medial malleolus, your ankle bone. That is above, okay, basically the medial crease, the upper part of that shoe, okay? I'm able to plantar flex, dorsiflex. I can both pronate and supinate and pronate that foot. My foot's able to move, okay? When you put on those supportive footwear, specifically boots, it's not able to do that. So you're essentially, over time, you're weakening those structures, okay, the foot and the ankle, just because they're not able to adapt to those different stresses. And that's so important. Now, what I wouldn't recommend is that you go throw on a pair of trail sneakers like this, and then you throw on a super heavy pack. If you're used to doing that, and you've done it many times before, well then, of course, go for it. But if you're somebody who's new to this, you're like, you know what? I'm sick of having foot and ankle, calf, Achilles injuries, strains, etc. And it's time to start strengthening and building some durability in the foot and the ankle. Then start light, okay? Start out with body weight. Go for a hike without your boots on. And then start adding light loads. Like I'm light load here today. This is 20-pound vest. And this is really achievable for almost all abilities, okay? So somewhere to start. And then you just build up from there. And you should, late in the off season or pre-season, just before you start hunting, you should have no problem carrying heavy loads. Think like loads that you might be packing out of the woods if you're successful. And you should have no problem doing that, because you've ramped up, you've built that durability and the compliance over time. And you're gonna also notice that when it comes to like climbing, you're gonna burn, what I should say is that you're gonna be more efficient, okay, because that foot and the ankle is less sloppy. Right, every time the foot hits the ground, there's less squish, right? Because we've essentially made it stronger. We've stiffened it up in such a way that you can apply more force and have less power leak, okay? So, super simple, but highly effective little tweak that you can make this off season.